It's our privilege at this new episode of Education Exchange tonight to welcome a remarkable new leader in our district, Miss Laura Cottrell, the principal of Northwest Junior High School in Iowa City, or Coralville, and Coralville. It is my pleasure to welcome you here on behalf of John Karhoff, the chief producer, and Mr. Michael Peterson, the chief director, and on behalf of Public Access TV, as well as the Iowa City Community School District. Now that you are leading one of the junior high, the three junior high schools in our district, how do you feel about this transition? You came from Chicago?
Yes.
And that's your first assignment in this district, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about what's your feeling? How did it feel moving from a huge metropolis like Chicago into a small town like Iowa City and Coralville?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. I really like Iowa City. I love Coralville. So coming from a huge city like Chicago, and the school that I was at prior had 3,000 students. We had 300 staff members. I really like the peace that's here. So it's, this size of the school and everything seems to fit me better. And also there's just a different feel here where, the value of family is just prevalent everywhere you go. So family, education, because it's the college town, and I just really like the feel here.
So there was no culture shock. I know people get culture shock when they move from a rural area into a big, but you just did the opposite.
I sure did. I think it was time for change for me, though. So, I think the biggest culture shock is being away from my family, because I have a huge family, and we were super close. So we would get together on Sundays and every birthday. So the biggest culture shock, I would say, is just missing my family. But even at the school, I know that I'm one of the few blacks in a predominantly white
homogeneous
yes,
community.
Correct. Yeah. That could be overwhelming for some people, but the school I was at, even though it was in Chicago, had a predominantly Caucasian staff. So I'm kind of used to that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the environment and culture.
Yes.
It is very intriguing to get somebody from Chicago, because I think Chicago is, if you are trained in Chicago, you can work anywhere in the world, right?
I believe that, yeah.
So tell me about your experience and how this experience had extended to cover your style of leadership currently.
Okay, so while in Chicago, at first I taught for 10 years, English language arts, 9th through 12th grade. So I had the instructional background, the experience of collaborating with my peers to move students in the right direction, to focus on our at-risk students and to, differentiate regardless of their background. So I had that background, and then in doing administration for 3 years after, I was over not only safety, security, but I was the lead for IoT. So I was administrator over IoT. I was administrator over professional development. I was administrator over MTSS, which is multi-tier systems of support. So all these things are things that Iowa City is getting into now. Either it was recently introduced within the past couple of years or this year. So I feel confident in stepping into those roles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. And as a matter of fact, we have a good community from Chicago already moving to Iowa City
Yes.
here, seeking more stability and safety and all that. And well, in addition to your experience in schools, tell me about the challenges that you met as a young female educator. I think that is very important because now you moved from educator to administrator, and we used to have women teaching classrooms, and almost always the leaders and the planners and the designers and the think tanks were all guys, you know, with suits and the good old boy club. And now you are among the designers and the leaders.
Yes.
So tell me about the challenges that you had to confront from the beginning, maybe as a child. Share with me some of this experience.
Well, you know, it's hard to just hone in on it just from the educational perspective. I would say it seems like men are favored throughout our society. However, I just use that as motivation. And I'm the type, my personality is such where I like to highlight other people's accomplishments. I like to say, you know what, you do that very well. You're very strong in that. Like, do that, you know. And I like to encourage people. And so we don't have to do a power struggle at any point in time, because you can never be me. You can never, you know, have the insight that I have because you don't have my experiences and my background. And likewise, the same for, you know, men. I could never walk in your shoes. So I don't try to compete. I try to highlight. I try to use as a support. And I think that's helped me so far. So I don't get into the power struggle. I never have to because of how I approach things.
And when you came to Iowa City, did you try to learn about the community, ask people how it is? And did you find the image that you had before when you were preparing for this transition? Did you find the image really parallel to what you have seen with your own eyes and with your experience?
I was told that Iowa City is definitely ready for change, that I would totally be welcome because the community is ready for change. And I believe that Iowa City is progressive in that way. But on some things, for example, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'm just going to say it, okay? I do feel that there's a stigma attached to those who migrated from Chicago. So, you know, I don't know if Iowa City was ready for the amount of people who came from Chicago, but they're here, and you know, they're in our schools, and they, you know, like, they're Iowans now, and so I can kind of see some of my students' perspectives of maybe feeling not as accepted as they would like. I did not expect that at all.
More sensitive issue I'm going to ask you about, and what really brought it into my mind, that in this program a couple of weeks ago, we interviewed Dr. Boyd from Southeast Junior High.
Yes.
And one of the stories she told me was when she was a young administrator in her previous place where she worked, I think Waterloo. And she was walking in the hallway, and she met this young person who said, "Oh, you look like great whole monitor or something like that. And she said, well, actually, I am the administrator. And the person was like surprised. Young African-American woman is the principal, you know. So we definitely still live in this stereotype, you know. Sure. So that's what I want to ask you about. As an African-American leader, do you feel that you are given the chance to express yourself well? Sometimes people listen to what you say or ignore it. Or tell me honestly, because we're not here in a workshop, but we are trying to inform the public about how we should deal with the changes in our society and our life. And that's part of our mission in this program.
Yeah. So, I mean, for my staff has been very receptive. And I feel that I have an ear at ICCSD. So, you know, if I needed to voice, you know, where I needed support, they're very supportive. So, again, I don't think I really see maybe what someone else might see because of how I approach things. And then, too, I'm still super new. I will say that coming behind an educator like Dr. Greg Schultz, who was at Northwest Junior High for so many years and ran, you know.
He had the legacy.
Yes, he has the legacy. And so I believe that there's some expectations that have been placed upon me from that they want me to do what he did and, you know, handle things the way in which he handled them, but that's, you know, I can't do it. So, you know, there are some things that I was able to hold on to, but our walks are totally different.
Styles are different. And approaches are different. Generation are different.
May be different, you know. Yeah.
So, but you feel closer to your kids because I mean you're pretty young.
Okay.
I mean seriously. I mean you're young and kids, you know, you can probably relate to their generation easily.
I can, and
the culture and the songs and the music and the dances. It's very important. Just yesterday, I was telling you backstage about a young woman, African-American woman, that I wrote about in the paper yesterday in an op-ed editorial. And good part of the challenge that we met sometimes is to relate to their culture. So I mentioned something about Tiana, and not many people knew about Tiana. So and I had to put on my Facebook explanation. Well, this is the picture of Tiana, and Tiana is a Disney character, and she played this role with the frog. And she sang this song that says, I'm determined, I will do it, I'm almost there. It has something about determination that for me parallels to the character that I was writing about.
Yes.
So using things like that, you know, metaphors and all that, anecdotes are very important to relate to the kids.
Yes, I agree.
And you mentioned to me your role with the Viking time plans to deal with the at-risk issues as well. Now, I hear about your restorative justice program and vision. Can you address this, please?
Sure. So one of the visions that I have for not only my school, but for the district is that we become more restorative in our practices so that when students, you know, make a mistake or come down with a discipline referral, instead of being immediately punitive, we reteach behaviors, right? And do it in a couple of different ways. So At my old school, we used to implement peace circles. And so if a conflict were maybe even about to arise between two students, instead of letting it play out and letting the students fight and then just giving them the repercussion after, having a culture at the school where students either can self-refer to a peace circle or where people can refer students to a peace circle, and then they sit down and there's a circle keeper, trained circle keeper, who gets to the bottom of the conflict to be proactive. So that's one way. And, you know, peace circles work not only with students, but peace circles also work with adults. I had to do some peace circles amongst departments, sure, and between an administrator and teacher, and it's very effective. The other way you can be restorative is with peer jury, where you train students to kind of be the jury in certain cases where, like, let's say a student, I don't know, said something inappropriate to a teacher and stormed out. You know, the body of his or her peers would determine, how that should go. And so the student has a chance, like due process, they have a chance to express themselves to their peers. And it's just so powerful.
As an extension of conflict resolution
yes,
approaches.
Yes.
Well, that's great to hear. It comes to my mind again, the fact that we at junior high are, they always say, I taught for many years. I taught PhD students, and I taught elementary school kids, and I taught secondary school. But almost always everybody says junior high is a real challenge because of the hormonal change and the normal development,
yes,
changing from a child to an adolescent and so forth. And what it comes with that, whether it's psychological, mental, or learning problems. Do you, in your previous experience, was a junior high or at senior high? Or
it was high school, so 9th through 12th.
Okay.
But 9th graders are like 8th graders, right? So they needed a lot of nurturing. You had to kind of keep them cohorted, had to teach them organizational skills, so on and so forth. So the transition from high school to junior high with 7th and 8th grade, it's not that big of a difference for me. I will say, when I look at them and they're so little and they're so cute, sometimes when I probably should be a little more stern, it's hard to, because they're just so cute and they're trying to figure it out.
You have a big heart.
So, because at the high school level, you're talking almost to adults.
Right.
And so the conversation sounds very different. But I didn't find it too hard to make that change, because 9th graders still need a whole lot of coddling.
So do I understand from between the lines, and I'm not trapping you, but do I understand that you are more for the middle school model than junior high?
I really like middle school.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I'm biased.
Okay.
I am for the middle school
okay.
experience, and as a matter of fact, during my service in the district that was beyond 20 years, I was so much into the middle school experience and tried to promote the idea, sharing committee, researching it. And I still believe that one time we are going to move to this model. I don't know what's in the minds of our Board of Education, but I hope this will happen one day. But I think the model that they implemented, at least Steve Merrily and his group, what they did with the junior high is injected with a lot of middle school experience, even in the design of the curriculum, the advisee role. This was not before. I mean, this is all new to our junior high. So I think it is kind of quasi middle school, but age is very important.
Yes, it is.
Extremely important, because you still have the 7th graders and 8th graders, and one of them looks so elementary, the other one looks so secondary.
That's true.
So Now, what's your plans for the future now?
I plan to stay in education, definitely. I really, really like where I am right now. I have so many plans for Northwest Junior High. Coming in brand new and with so many new initiatives, I really don't want to overwhelm my staff. So I find that I have to kind of take my time and be very precise with rolling things out.
Progress, yeah, exactly.
With that being said, like in my mind, I have a 5-year plan about, how things, could progressively roll out to be nice. I plan to have a family in the future. I don't have any kids yet, not married yet.
Well, you're so young, so.
How young do you think I am?
Well, I can tell that you're very young.
Okay. But, I plan to continue to go back and forth, see my family sometime. They come down to see me.
You miss your mom?
I miss my mom and dad. They're so cool. They come down, though. They were both retired.
Oh, great.
And
did they like Iowa City?
They love Iowa. I said, they better not try to buy something out here. They better not, because they like it so much. I've written and published one book. I plan to do some more writing.
Another surprise here. Okay, tell us about your book.
It's called Introducing Honey Jim Sheesby, and basically it's a coming of age book geared towards like 6th, 7th graders about a young lady who's trying to find her identity.
So that's like Tiana that I wrote about. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I plan to continue in that, and I also have some other. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so I have some other things that I like to do.
Well, as a matter of fact, that you mentioned entrepreneurship, I wish we have a lot of entrepreneurs here in this town who are rich. And when you talk about rich, they are rich.
Okay.
And I wish they would be more contributing to the education system. I have a big mouth anyway. I have a big pen too, and sometimes big brush. So, there was one guy that really exemplified how an entrepreneur can be so much involved in education. His name is Tim Terry, and I would like you to see him one day. He actually fathered the school, that was private school here in this town, and it was extremely successful experience. He put his money, his effort. He did a lot of things. Now he's away from the school, but he's here. And I wish we can have many Tim Terrys, entrepreneurs, to come up with ideas and put their money. We invest in the future, invest in our kids, right?
I agree.
That's the best investment. It's not the stock that we buy, from here or there, It is very important that we try to give you all the support we can. And the community here stand by your charisma and by your perseverance and determination to make it. And I love this idea that you just said, and I have lots of plans. That is very intriguing to hear. And I am sure that this kind of feeling that you have is contagious to your kids too. Because if my educator is so motivated and so enthusiastic, I will follow their footsteps. And for this, I really would like to congratulate you first for being one of our leaders. And is there anything you would like to look at the camera, talk to the people about?
Thank you for being so welcoming. Especially to my parents. I've had so many parents call and stop me during parent conference night to tell me that they were waiting for me, that they were looking for me, and that they're ready for me. And so I really, really appreciate it.
On behalf, of course, of John Karhoff, the father of this program, and Michael Peterson, on behalf of the Iowa City Community School District and Public Access TV, who is offering us this beautiful studio and beautiful facility and control room and new machines and cameras that sometimes are working and sometimes they don't. But you see, Public Access TV needs our help too. And because this is a very democratic spot
Yes.
in our media here. And I congratulate you again and feel so honored to be in your company today.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
Our program would be on Channel 18, that's the cable Channel 18. If our viewers don't have cable Channel 18, please go to YouTube and you will find this program tomorrow evening on YouTube. And in the meantime, on Public Access TV website, and as well as Channel 21, the education channel.
All right.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you
It's a
so
delight
much.
having
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in December having a very special night in Iowa City and Coralville. It's sunny, it's beautiful, and we are lucky to have very good weather, and we are getting ready for the Rose Bowl too, which is another. Are you supporting the Chicago Bulls or Chicago Cubs or what?
I'm a Chicago fan, so it doesn't matter.
Chicago in general. Ladies and gentlemen, have a very good night.